This is a Renault, I think, intercooler. We're also going to be running a fan on the intercooler. Basically just use this thing as a drill press. It's so cool. Oh, it's a big tank, Nikita. How big is your cot? The time has come now to mess around and get an intercooler on the car. And this is what I've come up with. And we'll see how it goes. So the car came with this big boy intercooler right here, which is pretty massive. It's also very thick, very heavy. And it has the dual outlets right there, which is for the RB. But because of the bash bar design and everything, it is very difficult to fit that intercooler over here, and it basically takes up this entire area, and the radiator would get like no airflow. So the solution is, this is a Renault, I think, intercooler. It uses a 5-inch thick core right here, has a 2 1/4 inch inlet and outlet, and I mean, look at that. It's insanely thick, but it is ridiculously small if you look at it compared to the size of the car. So I was going to mount it like this, do some 90-degree couplers on there, and then have it go over there for the intercooler and then intake. But then we realized that was retarded, because that's basically the whole impact zone usually when you're tandeming, is like psh, psh, smash it in the corner. So that's dumb, but I thought it was a great idea when I came up with it. So the new idea is to have it mounted somewhere like so, and then make some custom inlet and outlet tubes on the intercooler, so that way it clears the tube front and goes out to the side perfectly. And since we were going to be cutting these off, modifying the angle of them and everything, we're like, alright, might as well go with 2.5-inch tubes, that way we don't have to use a reducer on here, because we're going to do 2.5-inch for the rest of the piping. And then, if you're going to 2.5-inch, it's a little bit hard to center a 2.5-inch hole saw on here, obviously, when the whole center is cut out of it, so it'd be easier to do it on the back side and just cap these off. So the game plan is to cut these off, weld the plate on here, then after that, oh shit, go on this side, hole saw out 2.5-inch hole, do some intercooler piping coming off at an angle right there, make it a straight pass, more or less, into the intercooler core, make some little mounting brackets and stuff, and then we could deal with the rest of the intercooler piping and game plan. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, we're also going to be running a fan on the intercooler to make sure that all the air passes through those 5 inches of core, and this is going to be very efficient, because in drifting, you rarely really get that front airflow, because you're going sideways. I think this is going to compensate well, because it's going to have an E-fan. Got rags in there to prevent metal going into the intercooler. Swag. We didn't have the metal for this side, but now we do. Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Swag.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, look, that's perfect hole, huh?
I know, right?
Swag. What the fuck?
What?
Oh my god!
Huh?
The thing wasn't on straight. Look how much it fucking cut.
Holy fuck.
What the fuck? I didn't mount it? What the fuck? Oh my god, fuck, dude.
What? Holy shit, it's wobbly as fuck. Look at that.
Yeah, dude. I was wondering why it was so off. Oh, we fucking... What the fuck is wrong with this one? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's straight. Not terrible. Could be better.
There are the caps welded up. Looking swaggy. Can you turn it around? Then there are the inlets and outlets. Right there. Boom, boom. Alright, I'm going to get right to it today. I have my super tiny intercooler over here, and I've come up with a place to mount it, finally. Like, I overcomplicate super simple stuff, and it takes me forever to figure out a solution to it. So obviously I've got my bash bar over here, and now my intercooler I had to mount somewhere over here. Couldn't really decide where. Then I realized perfect thing to do is just cut out this bar on this side of the bash bar. Okay, take my intercooler and kind of just like inset it in there a little bit. And then after that, I'd have enough room for the fan to go on here. I'd have enough room to put 2 pusher fans on the radiator, and then everything should be nice and dandy. So I'm just gonna get right to it. Take an angle grinder, choppity chop, and get this out of the way. Got this cut out now. I'll probably take a flap disc on the angle grinder and clean up these corners a little bit more, obviously, but probably do that later on. For right now, I'm just gonna get busy with mocking up actual brackets and stuff and getting the intercooler in there before I go to pretty it all up. So I created these little brackets over here with rubber grommets inside to hold the intercooler on place on this side. The idea here is to weld this steel piece to the bash bar. Then after that, you know, obviously the intercooler will just hold in its place. Now I did make one side larger than the other just in case, because I wasn't sure how I was going to mount it at first. And then of course, once it's actually welded in and everything's good, then I'm going to trim them all down and make them look all nice. So you can tell the intercooler is straight. This side I just got some bubble wrap to hold it in place. Got a piece of wood underneath to keep the gap. See? And there she sits. And it has clearance for the fan to go on right there, as well as the radiator fan to slip on in front of that. So I'm just going to grind this paint down and then weld these brackets to the bash bar. Let's go tack that in. Okay, so got these tacked into place, so that is going to take care of this side. Now I got to move on to the other side. Now look here, buds. So I got these aluminum pieces here, eh? What I want to do is drill these and tap these and then weld them onto the intercooler over here. That way I can bolt the intercooler on this side with some brackets welded to the bash bar. But my problem is that I got to drill a hole through this and tap it, and I really don't have a vise out here, and obviously drilling in this by hand is kind of a pain. So the solution is a bit overkill, but I got my CNC over here, and this is basically the only vise I have in the shop. So I'm just going to put that baby in there, eyeball the center of it, because I really don't want to use the edge finder and set this thing up, you know what I mean, for like however, 5 minutes or whatever. So then I'm going to take my bit over here, which is perfect size to do M8 by 1.25 thread pitches. So I'm going to drill that baby out, and then after that, tap it with the tap. So this is ridiculously unnecessary, but it should be fun. Just eyeballed it on center right there. Eyeballed it on center over here. Let's just let her rip, I guess. All right, cooling on. Now turn the spindle back on. 4,000 RPM again. We just gotta jog this baby down. Oh, there we go, eh? Well, would you look at that? Not bad for eyeballing it, eh? It's a hair off center, but not a big deal. Pretty good. Most unnecessary use of the CNC. Got my M8 by 1.25 tap. Just gonna hand tap it. Got our threads in there. Perfect. What the? Round 2. Fight. And there we go, another one done. This one is actually fairly on center. I'm happy with that. So yeah, that was a completely unnecessary use of the CNC machine. Basically just use this thing as a drill press, but it worked out. So I'm happy with that. Good results. Stoked. Well, hot damn, look at that. Good job, Nikita.
I was kind of concerned going into this because it's been, I think, like, what, 4 or 5 months since I last TIG welded, but turns out TIG welding is like drifting, you know? If you haven't done it in like a year, you go into it like, I don't know what I'm doing, but then it all just comes back to you, man. It's instinct.
Wow. Wow. So look at all the nice welding that Nikita did. So these ones are finally in place exactly what they're meant to be. This one's supposed to be basically in the center, and this one's supposed to be like up high on this side. And similar to what I did on the other side, I made these metal brackets. So this one goes here, and that one goes there. And then here are the brackets bolted up in their place. And now all I gotta do is weld them on. Got this thing tacked in place. Looking very nice and straight. You see the intercooler? Now I gotta try and unbolt it and see if I can actually push this side up and then wiggle it out. Perfect. Slides out, no problem. Amazing. Look at how freaking awesome that looks. Got a gap over there, gap on the bottom. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's so cool. And this fan is gonna sit back here. Plenty of room for a radiator fan. How freaking cool that looks. That was the majority of it. Now what I have to do is weld full beads along all the brackets. Then of course trim the brackets down and make them all nice looking. And then it's gonna be done as far as the mounting system goes. Final product, got the brackets rounded out, fully welded. Come over to the back side, same exact thing. So looks super clean now. And guess we'll call that a day. How rad does that look? Now I'm going to go through all the reasons of why I picked such a small intercooler. First off, I'm going to be running basically stock power and stock RB20s and SR20s as well. They came with just side mount intercoolers. Number 2, this is much bigger than a stock side mount intercooler, plus it's going to be running an electric fan on top of already being bigger. Number 3, I really don't like adding extra weight to the car, and this weighs less than a traditional intercooler setup. Fourth reason is that most front mount intercoolers are rated for around 400, 500 horsepower, which just seems so overkill on an engine setup that's making 200 to 250 horsepower. And lastly, the fifth reason is I want to have it as lagless as possible. So smaller intercooler, less turbo lag, because it has less volume to fill up before reaching the engine. So those are my 5 decision-making reasons, and of course you can let me know what you think in the comments. Oh yeah, and last reason, which I just remembered right now, is also because the intercooler is smaller, it blocks less of the airflow that's going towards the radiator, so I should see cooler water temps with this setup. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!